Hi, Saen Higgins here. Maryland, the great state of Maryland on the East Coast. Is it a lien or is it a deed? This state, Maryland, with a little bit of math and a little foresight will make you big money. In this video, I'm going to show you double, triple, even quadruple your investments that you're getting over the bank. Stick around, I'm going to show you. I love Maryland. Knowledge is power. A little bit of knowledge is going to make your bank account explode. And I'll show you how before we wrap this up at the very end. Now, Maryland is a tax lien state, but it's really the most hybrid I've ever seen out there because there's many different ways it can be done depending on the county. Like Baltimore County does it completely different than PG, Prince George's County, but yet it's in the same state. This is one of the first states that I ever did invest in way back in the day. So pay attention and I'll show you how you do this. Now, there are two different types of bidding processes in Maryland. All of the sales start in the month of June. So you can start your summer vacation with the kids in Maryland. Now in Maryland, it's premium bidding. What that means is, let's keep it real simple. Let's say I have a $250,000 piece of property. Oh wait, Maryland, they've got some of the most wealthy counties around there. Let's say it's a $500,000 property. And let's say there's a $2,000 lien against the property. And they're paying 18%, because it's 18 to 24% depending on the municipality. And let's say for whatever reason, this particular county is paying 18%. So I buy it for $2,000. Somebody says, okay, I'll take it for $2,000. Somebody says, I'll take it for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $15,000, $20,000. Now what that means is I've paid a premium of $18,000 on that lien. That doesn't mean I give the county $18,000 or $20,000. I still give them just the $2,000. I'm earning 18% on that $2,000. Here's the tricky part, because it's a 2-year full redemption period, again, depending on the municipality. Some are as short as 6 months. But let's say it's 2 years. At the end of the 2 years, if they don't pay me $2,000 plus the 18%, I can foreclose on the property. But I'm now responsible to pay the county for what I bid on the property. That's right. So it'd be up to $20,000. Crazy story. So I'm in Maryland. This is 1996. I think it is. And I'm looking at liens. I'm absolutely having a blast. I'm learning this inside and out. I'm so excited. I'm going to go to the auction. I've got my bidder number. The auditorium is full. Probably 50 people in there. Now I'm looking around the room and there's 3 guys, 1 behind me and 2 in front of me. This is like a theater, so it's bowed up like this. You know, I've got my paddle. I think I was paddle number, 42, whatever. And these guys have got their briefcases set up on the chairs next to them. They mean business. So the sale starts and the first property goes up, and let's just pretend like it was $2,000. And somebody says $2,000. This guy over here says 20. This guy says 50. This guy behind me says 100. 150, 250, $500,000. And finally, the guy says, okay, sold. Everybody's murmuring. Nobody can figure out what's going on, including this kid. Okay, it's 1996. I've never been to a sale before. What the heck are they doing? Another property does. They bid it through the ceiling. Another property bid it through the ceiling. I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I left the auction because it was 1 week long. Okay, I went down, I did some research, and I figured out what was going on. They weren't responsible for how much they were bidding on the property. They got the lien amount plus, in that county, that was PG County, it was 18%. They would send out letters to these property owners saying, hey, we've bought the lien on the property. You have a potential of losing the property in the next 6 months. And they knew they were going to be redeemed on 99% of them and get their full 18%. When I came back to the auction the next day, guess what? There was only 3 people there. Those 3 attorney and me. Now I knew the rules. I started bidding on the properties, bid them up, knowing I wasn't going to have to come up with the premium. This is what I mean by a little knowledge goes a long way. You can't start foreclosure until at least 6 months has gone by. So like I've said earlier inside here, it depends on the county, okay? They can be as little as 6 months on the redemption period up to 2 years. So know the state statutes on that. But there's no county in the state of Maryland that I can start the foreclosure on sooner than 6 months. But again, like PG County that we were working on there, I do believe it was 24 or 18. I can't remember what it was. It was 1996. And I've had a couple beers since then, so my memory is not totally there. But here's the deal. They couldn't start the foreclosure until 6 months. So what they did is they were sending out notifications saying, but we can. And it was freaking everybody out. They paid them and some things happened with that way. So there was a little strategy within the strategy. In Maryland, it's a 2-year redemption period. So only at the end of 2 years can you start the foreclosure process unless the county says otherwise. Remember at the very beginning of this, I told you, like for instance, in Baltimore, they choose 18%. PG County, I do believe it's 24%. So there's all these different interest rates, but they can also say, hey, we're going to let you start the foreclosure at 6 months, or you must start it within 2 years. Now, keep your eyes on the state statute. Every state has a like dead date. In other words, if you haven't started the foreclosure process by a certain amount of time, your position is null and void. Make sure you know what it is in the county because every county is going to be a little different. There's 2 different ways that tax liens are offered in the state of Maryland. There's live and in person, and there's realauction.com. There'll be a link down here below, realauction.com. Those are the only 2 ways. I get this question a lot. Which one do you like? Do you like the online auctions or the live auctions? I think there's something beneficial to be said with both. Online auctions, some of the cons on that, sometimes there's some knuckle brains in there that do some goofy things, but you don't have to go there. In live auctions, only serious people show up. And here's the one thing I don't want you to be nervous about. If you go to a live auction, and let's say there's 50, 60, 80, 100 people in there, has anybody watching this, I want you to think about this. Have you ever been to a sale ever before? Okay, any kind of sale. I'm talking about a car auction or anything else like that. They say the national average is only 4 to 6% are people who are actually participating in it. So don't worry about how many people are there. And who's participating is what I'm not worried about, just interested in, if anything else. Okay, so let's talk about this. First of all, over the counter is going to be a first come, first serve. You can do it through the mail. Some of it, a little bit of it is online. But, Maryland has probably one of the most complicated processes for determining how much taxes are owed on a particular property or what the bidding process, premium bidding, all of these things. And literally, there's, 50 or 60 people at this sale, and everybody there blew out of the room. I bothered enough to just go in and do a little bit of research, figured out what these 3 other attorneys were doing, and had a field day on it. And that's kind of the moral of a lot of what I'm teaching. Nobody's going to work harder than me at this. So I've always got the work ethic side of that. And that's what you've got to look at. If there is a stumbling block, if the county's being difficult, it's not that they're trying to be, but I kind of rub my hands together and go, okay, they're not, it's nothing personal. They're not being difficult because, oh, here comes Sean. They're being difficult because they probably have, these bonehead questions that come in there, and some guy comes in there, can I really get a property for back taxes? Really, can I? You get the Homer Simpsons of the world, if you will. And that would grate on anybody. So treat the county with respect. And, if you don't understand how the premium bidding is working, don't be embarrassed to ask. But when you talk to the county, have that stuff written down, or just, text me in the messaging here, and I'll make sure somebody helps you out with that if I can't explain it to you in clear detail, which is an absolute phenomenal segue. Look, if you like this information and you want detailed, just granular training on this. I've been doing this for 30 years. Not only do I love cooking, but I eat my own cooking without throwing up. I really do this stuff. So if you like this information and you want some training, just go to higginsmethod.com. I've got some brand new training. Boom, it's going to go from beginning to end all the way through this. If you love this, you're going to love that. We'll see you out there. Good luck and be careful.